Hey, what's going on everybody? Jason here, and welcome back to another Zombies video. Today, we have the history of the ray gun. Call of Duty put out a new blog post today interviewing some of the Treyarch staff members about this iconic wonder weapon. Not just from zombies, but it's a very iconic weapon in Call of Duty history. I love this redacted ray gun. Nikolai? Who is Nikolai? I only know Nikolai Belinsky. But of course, Nikolai is saying he loves his fucking ray gun so he can kill Hellpig. As we approach the 20th anniversary of the Call of Duty franchise, there are countless moments in its history we all look back on fondly. One of them is the ray gun, the wonder weapon created by Treyarch for the then secret third mode of World at War Zombies. Few people know its history better than Treyarch senior lead artist Maxwell Porter, who started as an environment artist on Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 before becoming a weapons artist for Call of Duty 3. Ultimately, he became the only weapons artist for Call of Duty World at War. Interesting, so this Maxwell Porter guy was the weapon designer for World at War. I think we know why it's called Porter's X2 ray gun now when you pack-a-punch the ray gun. Quote, I previously had a conversation with an art director and was spitballing ideas about bringing different elements into the World at War narrative, he said, and one of the ideas I had was about those retro futurism toys in cereal boxes back in the day. End quote. So yeah, there you go. There's his inspiration for the ray gun, and it's very apparent by the way it looks. He spent an hour a day doing what he wanted and freeform modeled what would become the ray gun. Essentially, he is Mr. Ray Gun. And here we have a picture of the Ray Gun Mark II. Obviously that was introduced in Buried, and of course it's the Mark II version of the Ray Gun. Judging by this picture though, this looks like a picture from Blackout in Black Ops 4, because you have the blue lights and the blue 115 energy coursing through this ray gun, kind of like the Ray Gun Mark II X from Alpha Omega, and this is clearly a picture of Verrucht, so I think this is a picture from Blackout. Quote, I wanted to do something that felt between a toy and a real weapon with Easter eggs on the actual device because I love that in video games. Nobody really asked me to make it. It was something I wanted to do, and in the back of my mind, I wanted to convince a designer to get it into the game. Continuing on, he says further, I heard talks that there was going to be a secret third mode in World at War, and I went to the designers and said, so I had this ray gun, what do you think? And they were excited about it enough for it to be put in the game. It was a time where there was a lot of energy around zombies, and the concept of the magic box or mystery box came up, so having something as a super rare find was a nice piece of whimsy to add to the mode. People were playtesting at the time and would be shouting, I got the ray gun, so everyone was excited about it. And of course, that's a classic zombies moment, getting the ray gun for the very first time, no matter what game you're playing. One of those people was Chris Cowell, currently the principal game designer at Treyarch, who manages all the big map experiences for the studio, including Blackout in Black Ops 4 and Outbreak in Black Ops Cold War. Quote, I remember the ray gun being the first wonder weapon that came out of happenstance as an Easter egg in Little Resistance, Cowell said. I enjoyed getting it working in Blackout, specifically because it had a whole new host of technical hurdles, including ballistics and the number of players that could potentially have the ray gun. So to have it work the same and look the same to the player, but have it be something completely different under the hood was a technical achievement. And here we have another screenshot of Blackout, and I gotta say, looking at these older screenshots of Blackout is pretty nostalgic because Black Ops 4, I still really enjoyed the game, and of course we have this graveyard right outside of Verrucht, getting the wonder weapons, fighting the Blight Fathers, and of course, killing enemy players with the ray guns were really fun. The caption of this picture says, the ray gun in action in Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Blackout mode. Chris Cowell recalled the difficulty of including the wonder weapon and its unique ballistic properties in this mode, which is exactly what we covered. Another veteran with vivid memories of the ray gun is Colin Ayers, now lead sound designer who started out as an intern for Treyarch more than 15 years ago. So it's good to see that we got some Treyarch veterans still sticking around and helping out with these newer zombies experiences. His first Call of Duty game was World at War, where he was responsible for zombie sound design, including the ray gun. Quote, the full reload sequence was my first 100% owned sound design that was tossed into the game, he said, and that reload noise relatively stayed the same up until this day. He has since continued to work on zombies to this day and beyond, alongside head of audio Brian Toohey. Quote, when Toohey and I were working on this together, we really wanted to create a sound that was modern at the time, but really rooted in that classic sci-fi laser pew pew pewing noise. I assume that's what he's trying to say there in that interview with the pew 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 noise. He recalled using a couple different tools at their disposal to create everything, including banging a wrench on a wire and heliacal spring toys. Quote, Quote, those sounds are basically the basis for sci-fi sounds and generations. So we took that and added modern elements to bring that up to spec for what we were looking for in game. We also had the impact sound play, he continued, but then we had the game shoot the sound out in different directions and have it sound like this crazy alien energy bouncing around. And of course, taking a look at the ray gun here in Black Ops Cold War and the dark ether, and of course the ray gun looks very cool. All three of these longtime veterans were ecstatic to hear that an official version of the ray gun is being made for the Call of Duty community. Quote, the moment I heard this was happening, I had my wallet open and ready to get it, Ayers said. To have something to lovingly look back at in my office is something I'm looking forward to. And of course, the ray gun that they're referring to is the ray gun collectible that is being produced by Kami Arts. And I covered that in a previous video from a few weeks ago, so if you guys want to check out that video, I'll leave it linked down below in the description with the card in the top right corner right now. Quote, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, Cowell said. I remember on Black Ops 3, we wanted the collector's edition to have a ray gun, but we couldn't get it done in time to make it a reality. Wow, okay, that's actually a pretty big piece of information there. It could have been a collector's ray gun, but instead we got the Juggernog fridge. So that's pretty interesting, but continuing his statement here, he says, so the fact that it is now a reality is so exciting. Then moving on to Maxwell Porter again, he says, quote, one of the favorite parts of my job is the wonder weapons, and I owe a lot to the ray gun. It's an amazing feeling. I feel emotionally tied to the ray gun because it was made at a time of my career where I was very young and naive, and to see it come to life alongside its longevity tied to the zombies mode is just great. It's a testament to all the designers and everyone who worked on zombies, and I'm extremely happy and proud to see this happen. And I know you guys saw it at the beginning of the video, but here it is again, the official ray gun in the Call of Duty shop being produced by Kami Arts for $600. And again, in that video that I posted a few weeks ago, I covered that I anticipated this being somewhere around that price point as well, so definitely not surprising considering the other statues and figurines on Kami Arts' website are around that price. Here are all the details about the Ray Gun replica, and you can pre-order it right now for $600 like I was saying. So if you guys have $600 to spend and you are a zombies fanatic, this would be a great collector's item to have. Well, there you have it everybody, the history of the iconic ray gun in Call of Duty Zombies. Of course, we had the retrospective here from the Treyarch developers talking about how it was developed, the sound design, how it was put in the game, and all that kind of stuff. I had a great time looking through this article and learning the history of this iconic wonder weapon. The ray gun holds a special place in all of our hearts, not just for zombies fans, but for fans of the Call of Duty franchise as a whole. One of the first things you think about when you think of Call of Duty Zombies is the ray gun. And honestly, it's really cool to see this Call of Duty collaboration here with Kami Arts to make this ray gun replica. I know there have been some very questionable decisions as it pertains to Call of Duty recently, but this is something for the fans here, and you gotta appreciate that. So you gotta give credit where credit is due on Activision's end and on Treyarch's end, because we know that Treyarch really cares about their community. And I think Treyarch knows that they have a dedicated and passionate fan base, especially when it comes to zombies. So hearing the history of the ray gun come directly from the developer's mouth and them sharing the story with everybody is really neat. So to Maxwell Porter, Colin Ayers, and Chris Cowell, thank you for creating such an iconic weapon that everybody in the zombies community loves. And to be honest, if the ray gun never saw the light of day and it never debuted in World at War, I don't think we would have seen any of these other crazy wonder weapons that we know and love as well. The Thunder Gun, the Wonder Waff, the Origin Staves, the Der Eisendrache bows, they're all wonder weapons, but of course, the grandfather of them all is the ray gun. So if it weren't for the ray gun, we probably wouldn't even have all these crazy and outlandish wonder weapons in the first place. Also, reading this article got me pretty excited for Treyarch's next game in 2024. I'm really looking forward to the continuation of the Dark Ether storyline. And of course, I'm looking forward to using the ray gun in that new game. Whether it's round-based or Outbreak, the ray gun is definitely gonna have our backs. But overall, the ray gun is a staple in Call of Duty Zombies, and for you zombies fanatics out there, if you have $600 to spend, head on over to the Call of Duty store and pre-order your ray gun replica now. But what do you guys think about the ray gun replica and the history of the ray gun in Call of Duty Zombies? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Anyways guys, that's it for this video, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you're a brand new viewer. And with that said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night depending on where you are in this crazy world, and I'll see you guys next time.